You're listening to Spark TV, where we bring you daily interviews with real women in business at all stages. I'm your host, Danielle Lewis, and I am so grateful to have you here. Loren, welcome to Spark TV. It's so good to have you here.
So good to be here. Thank you so much, Danielle.
I'm so excited because you've been in my world for a little while. I've been stalking you, looking at all the things, reading your articles, following you on social media. You've written great stuff for Spark as well. So I'm so excited to actually get to have an actual chat with you.
Yeah, I'm really excited too. I think I've been in your world for like 2 years now, and I'm
I
like, you know
know.
what? It's time. It's time for me to actually have a face to face with Danielle.
Yes, this is so good. And on the podcast as well, where we've got time, we can delve into the stuff. That is
Yeah.
so good. So let's start out by telling everyone who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Loren. I own Gemini Creative Studio, which is a branding and design agency, and we basically exist to burn the beige and to own the too much. So we want to be the ones who made branding feel like an act of rebellion, liberation, and art. So we're the creatives who blend chaos with clarity and magic with marketing and made it all look effing iconic. I don't know if I can swear, so I'm just like effing iconic.
You can very much swear here. We encourage it.
Amazing. So
Oh.
yeah, that's in a nutshell, that is what I do.
I love it so much because I'm not going to lie to you, especially on social media, everything feels the same,
Yeah, oh yeah.
and it's just, and I know we kind of look to other people for inspiration, but I feel like sometimes we've gotten lost in this sea of sameness.
Mm.
And I think for us as individual business owners, it also kind of makes it hard for us to like love our own brand and show up every day if we don't like own it and it's not us.
Absolutely. And this is, I think, my whole messaging now, and I don't know about you, but I have been called too much my entire life. So too opinionated, too bold, too intense. And I think for years, I always used to shrink to be more palatable so then people
Mm.
can think I'm more professional or like me more. But then I kind of realized, the people who think I'm too much just aren't my people anyway. So the
Hmm.
women who I work with who resonate with that energy, they're also the ones that they feel like they're too much. So I own it, so you can own it, and that becomes my entire brand and philosophy. And I hope that other people are seeing that too, because you're right. Everything out there is like beige and sage green and creams and beautiful serif fonts. And I'm not going to take that away from it because it's beautiful, but come on, guys, have a personality.
Oh my God, it is so true. It's interesting. I just love if you're too much, you're in the right place.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, that's exactly right. Your too much energy is what I love and thrive on. So.
Oh my God, that is so good. So how did you even get into this?
Oh my gosh. So I've been in business now for 6 years in July, I think. Yeah.
Wow, 6 years, that's you've done some time.
I have done some time. And honestly, the way I started my business wasn't some grand vision or, entrepreneurial ambition. It started because I had to survive. So, like a lot of people, I lost my job through COVID.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, I spent 2 weeks on the floor crying. I
Good.
genuinely
Get it
couldn't get
out.
out of it. Yeah. It's because my entire worldview just shattered, right? I've been told my
Mm,
entire life that the stability and safety came from a corporate job. So, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go to uni, get a degree, get the job, climb the ladder, retire with a full super account. And that was the
mm.
path. But then I thought I was doing that, and then COVID hit, and that safety kind of just vanished. So I had this moment of, okay, well, what do I do now? And no one was hiring. The world was shut down. I had these skills, I had the experience, and I needed to pay bills. So then I had a chat with my husband, and he was like, fuck it, let's just let's go all in. We'll give it 6 months and see if we can make this freelance thing work. And that was 6 years ago. So at first it was because it was pure survival mode.
Yeah.
Take a client, charge whatever they'll like, whatever they'll pay, keep the lights on type of thing. But then
Yeah.
along the way, it changed and it became a mission.
Wow.
And here I
I
am.
also love the idea that, you didn't wake up one day and have it all figured out.
Mm.
It's like I love that because I was the same. You charge someone what they'll pay. Like that was exactly how I started. Like, will you pay me money? Then I will do this work.
100%. That's exactly how it was.
Yeah, and I think some people like look at themselves and where they're at in business and they think like, why don't I have like everything figured out yet?
Mm,
But it
mm.
is such a path. What was that
Oh,
like? What are those stages that you went through? Like, how did you figure it all out?
literally, I feel like, like the stages of grief.
Yeah.
It was like that, I started off incredibly depressed, incredibly sad. And then I was like so angry because I was like, why me?
Mm.
Why did this happen to me? I worked so hard. And then I kind of went into that, denial of like, oh my God, maybe I don't have like the skills, or maybe the world isn't gonna go back to normal and like all this kind of stuff. And then
Yeah.
really, I still don't know everything. I still don't have everything figured out. I'm literally learning every single day. Some days I know exactly what I'm doing, and other days I still throw shit at the wall and hope it sticks. It's just, honestly, it's just a journey, and I think it's so deeply personal that as much as I can give you my advice or my journey, I think it's all down to your choices and what you do,
Yeah.
right? Because 6 years in business is not easy, but it's not the hardest thing in the world either,
Mm.
you know?
It's so true. And I just love that you say that. Like, I do get a little tired of, the courses and the
Mm,
rhetoric on Instagram that is, if you just follow these three steps, your life will change and you'll be a billionaire tomorrow. And I know I rant a lot about that
yeah.
podcast, but it's so true because, your story is the same as my story, which is the same as everyone else's story, which is we are all here figuring it out and we are
Mhm.
all testing, learning. Some of it works for some of us, some of it doesn't work for others. Sometimes it works, but you don't like it. And you're like, this is
Yeah.
great and I could make money doing this, but it sucks.
Yeah, burn
So,
it down.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly right. Yeah, I think that it's just you can go balls to the wall with some things and be like, yeah, this is what I love to do, like this is what I love to do, and it doesn't work.
Mm,
Or it's the opposite and you're like doing what everybody else is doing and what these like Instagram people are telling you to do. And you're like, yeah, it makes money, but you hate everything. And then we want to burn it down, it's just not worth it at that point. It's too tiring.
yeah.
Who wants to do that?
It, well, and I kind of figure too, like business becomes your life as much
Mm.
as we say, work-life balance, protect your energy, have a personal life, all the things. Haha, not it just doesn't happen all the time.
No.
It is in your brain every single second of every day, even when you are lying on the massage table getting a
Oh,
massage.
yeah,
Actually,
100%.
especially then. So it
It's
is
actually,
like,
it is especially then. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you said that because it's so true. I try really hard to switch off when I'm getting a massage, but then I'm like, oh, this, oh, that. It's ridiculous.
I know it's worse because it's like, oh, now I finally have some time to think. And then I'm like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
great, now I can take over the world.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Oh, it's so true. So, how did you talk about being like super scrappy, taking anything
Mm.
in the early days. How did you get your first clients to start the path, journey, business, whatever I'm trying to say?
Yeah, so Facebook groups were a great place. So
Mm,
I'm pretty sure it was the Like-Minded Bitches Drinking Wine group where I started.
nice.
Yeah, and I had put a post up there saying, "Hey, I'm new. I'm scared. I was super vulnerable. I just don't know what I'm doing. This is what I want to be doing. Can anybody offer some advice?" And I do remember this one beautiful lady who I still talk to, commented and say, "Hey, I'm just gonna private message you if that's okay." And then she messaged me. She's a marketer, and she was just like, "First things first, I just want to say congratulations for starting. Like that's the hardest part. You've got so much support. This is what you do." And I just remember being so unbelievably grateful that somebody just like messaged me and was like, "You've got this." So basically I went out there and I was like, "Hey, I'm creating logos." Um, and I got my first client, and I think she spent $150, which makes my heart and soul burn right now thinking about it. But it was just, yeah, $150. I was like, I'll take it because it just means I'm making money doing what I'm doing.
I am now legit.
I'm
Someone
now
paid me
legit.
for a
Someone
thing.
paid me. Exactly right. So I did that. And then, I mean, look, there was so many learning curves along the
Mm.
way. Number one, don't ever undercharge like that.
Yep.
Never.
Yep.
And maintain your boundaries, have boundaries to begin with. And
Mm,
just, yeah, I just remember though, those Facebook groups are a love-hate thing though, because as much as it started out really well, because people were paying such low prices, like $150 for a logo, for example, they would
Mm.
go, okay, I would give them 3 or 4 different options that they would take to the group and make, and hundreds of people would comment on it, and just it wasn't the process
Wow.
was just horrific because it became a personal attack on the designer, and then
Wow.
yeah, so I had to create processes and have maintain some boundaries, and so now obviously I don't charge $150 for anything, but I have a very clear structured process now. So then we go through the whole thing and everybody's happy. Nobody has to take it offline and go to ask their partner or their uncle or their mother or whatever about anything. It's just all business decisions.
I love that because processes are not sexy,
No, they're not.
but they're kind of the thing that like save your sanity and save your business.
Mm, yeah,
When you like said, okay, this should not be a jury of Facebook deciding on my design skills,
yeah.
like how did you start to move clients to a process? Like, what was that like?
Yeah, so it was basically, I just spent a lot of time looking at other designers and what they were doing. So
Mm.
other designers would share their processes on their email lists or on their socials for other designers. And I just honestly just spent a lot of time doom scrolling and just learning and
We
observing.
call it research.
Research, sorry. Yes, I spent my time
Yeah.
researching. And yeah, so basically I was just kind of pulling from different spaces. So
Mm.
it was very messy and chaotic to begin with. Don't get me wrong. Like, I didn't have a smooth process like I do now. It was very much bits of everything. Um,
Mm.
but I like that I did that because it just meant that I created what I have now from my learning, from all my learnings. So, I mean, it was chaotic, but I thrive on chaos, so it's okay. My clients, not so much.
I know, I thrive on chaos too. I think that's a business owner trait.
Yeah, totally. I always say to people that I'm chaos personified.
Yeah. If it works, it works. That's what I say.
Exactly, exactly.
I do love it though because it's interesting, like especially now we do live in a time where you can really like find the answer to your question. You know,
Mm,
I love that you got your first processes from other designers that were just happy to help and share their knowledge. And then, as you say, messy, chaotic, and then you kind of find the bits you like, trash the bits you don't like, and that's what
yeah.
forms your process as you grow as a business and a business owner.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like it's the only way you can do it, really, because no one's processes or systems look the same. So just
Mm.
going back to that Instagram comment that you made where they're like, "Oh, follow this exact blueprint and you'll make $1 billion." If that was the case, why aren't we all billionaires?
We would all be billionaires. Yes.
Right? Exactly. So
Yeah.
I hate those things because it also puts this pressure on business owners, as if women don't have enough pressure as it is. And now we're
Yeah.
adding this extra pressure of if I'm not doing it this way, then I'm not good enough or I'm not
Mm.
doing it right. And that's just really unfair. I just think that take what you can from those types of posts, I guess. Take what you can,
Yeah.
what resonates with you, and then ditch everything else and create something that's wholly yours. And you'll find that it actually works.
Yeah. And I love to, when I learnt the idea of like continual improvement, it's
Mm,
like even if you shipped the world's most perfect process, product, service, whatever today, like tomorrow it's out of date.
correct. Yeah.
You know, so you just
Yeah.
need to get used to the idea that nothing's perfect and that you will always be improving. And I love
100%.
your comment as well to just take the pressure off because you, well, and yes, half I think of our pressure is self-inflicted, but it is
Always.
true, you know, like we don't need any more pressure on ourselves. If we start
Yeah.
to get used to the idea that, you know, do what we can today, learn more, make it better.
Yeah. 100%. That's all we can ask for, right? You can't
Mm.
put too much pressure on yourself. Otherwise, what's the point? Like, we also just can't hustle 24/7 either.
I
Like,
tried, tried, and it
like,
doesn't work.
no, I have burnt out. I've,
Yeah.
it's just not, it's not worth it. We need to be building a business that supports the life that you actually want to live. Because
Yeah.
ultimately, that's the whole goal, right?
Well, kind of that's the point, right? Like, what are
Mm.
you doing if you're not also having a life?
You might as well just go to sleep and just not wake up because
Yeah,
it's
totally.
like
Okay, this is getting depressing. No, it's just so true though. So, okay, so how have you survived 6 years in business? We talk about, an idea of balance, not putting
mm,
pressure on ourselves, not hustling 24/7, like, and, creating a business that does support the life that you want. How have you actually made sure that you personally have survived the 6 years?
yeah. I think honestly, it's by staying motivated would be by connecting back to my why consistently. So
Mm,
I also think that m motivation as a word is overrated because I don't wake up motivated every day.
same.
Some days I'm really tired, some days I don't want to work, and that's so fine. Because I've built a business so that I don't need to be motivated 24/7 to keep it running.
Mm,
But I think what keeps me engaged really is community. So exactly what we're doing right now, speaking to other people in the industry, having great partnerships and connections, talking to other women in business. That energy is infectious, so it makes me feel connected to mine again, learning new shit because I get bored really easily. So I'm always
mm,
picking up, you know, new hobbies and like shiny new things. I get like, I need to keep my brain engaged, right? And I think it's just also rebelling against the hustle culture. So every time I see someone
yeah.
promoting this grind of like 24/7 or you're not serious, I'm more like motivated to prove that you can build a successful business without burning
Yeah.
out.
Yes.
So I think it's just like the community, reconnecting to my why. I think those are the things that
Mm.
have gotten me to where I am and continue to push me.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
love that. I totally agree. I think that you really have to in business, like, not forget why you started or
Mm,
why, you're working for every dollar and what the end game is.
yeah.
And yeah, I do love that. And I do love the anti-hustle culture sentiment as well. I think you can be totally ambitious, totally driven, and
Mm-hmm.
not kill yourself in the process.
100%. And I mean, this goes on a whole different kind of conversation, but like it's these societal pressures that we have and this conditioning that we have to hustle, we have to have this masculine energy all the time.
Mm.
When as women, that does not work for us, right? We're allowed to be ambitious and we're allowed to work hard without this masculine energy of hustle, 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 like we
Yeah.
have been conditioned to in a corporate environment. So we have the ability to build our own businesses the way we want to. If we're not feeling it that day, we're allowed to just shut our laptop and go, no, fuck this, and spend the day on the beach instead. Because I don't know about you, but my motivation comes in waves and at different times of the day. So I'm a
Yeah.
night owl. So today I have my blinds open, but all day yesterday I decided to trick my brain, close everything, make it dark, and I was like,
I love this.
it's nighttime. And I actually I was really productive yesterday
Yeah.
because I tricked my brain to believing it's nighttime, right? So,
Yeah.
but that's the thing. I can do things like that because it matches the energy I have that day.
Mm.
So I just think like if you're listening to your body and what your body is saying as well, and not listen to these people that you have to hustle, 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 and like whatever, I think you'll find that business becomes easier for you, and you become way more in flow after that.
Yeah, and I also think that we forget that there is actually value in the rest.
Oh,
Like
yes,
the going to the beach, or I know we were making the joke about the massage, but when you do like
it's true.
actually stop and get time to think, because the other thing is that there's no glory in doing so much of the wrong stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
if you don't kind of stop and reflect and plan and strategize, you can find yourself, yeah, sure, you're up working till like midnight every night, but if you're doing the wrong thing, your business isn't going to grow.
Yeah, 100%.
So sometimes you do need that perspective to actually stop
Yeah,
and go, it's funny, like I stole it from my husband, but he's like, you need a CEO day. Like he's
yeah,
like, and my thinking time's in the bath, and he's like, go have a bath because you need to actually think about your business, not just do the to-do list.
100%.
And it's so true. Like you actually
Yeah,
need thinking time.
yeah, absolutely you do. Otherwise, like, it's too hard to be constantly in your business. Like, you need to have
Yeah.
that moment where you can just separate yourself and actually think about it. And I think another thing as well is being okay with the failure aspect as well. And if you don't
Yes.
have that space to think when you go, 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 and you see a failure and you get upset and you don't actually acknowledge it or learn from it. So having that
Mm.
space where you go, okay, I'm having a bath now. I'm going to sit and think about my business. Okay, if I failed at this, why did I fail at that? Take it as a learning opportunity, take everything as data and
Yes.
experimentation and just make it better.
Yeah, I love that so much. Um, I love it as well because, you know, the failure is such a funny word. Like it's so loaded, right? And we all
Yeah,
just like, oh my God, I can't handle this if I failed. Like it's like has become like a reflection as of you as a person.
yeah.
But the other thing is if you don't acknowledge something hasn't worked, like keeping on doing the thing that's not working is a way bigger failure than going, that didn't work.
100%.
I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm going to try something else.
Yeah, exactly. And you come to resent it. So
Mm,
if like you just say you're super passionate about, running a course and then you've done it and it failed, but what's failure mean to you? Did like five people buy it and you were hoping 20 people bought it? Is that
yeah.
the failure or is it you know what I mean? Like what is it that in your head you're telling yourself that you failed? So it's just
Yes.
about reassessing and changing the mindset, I think, because I think mindset's a massive thing.
Oh my God, I love that so much. I was listening to this woman on a podcast the other day, and she was talking about how in the very first course that she invented, one person showed up.
Yeah.
But then the next one, five people showed
Yeah.
up, and then 10, and now she's like served like 10,000 students or something
Yeah.
crazy. But like if it was me, I'd be like, oh my God, one person came. This is it. I'm canceling everything and burning my business to the ground.
That's so funny because I'm the same as you.
Yeah. I'd be like, this is wildly embarrassing. I'm gonna go to bed now.
Yep, 100%. Absolutely.
But it's so true. Like, and it's so it was interesting. She's like, so now we have data. And okay, well, how many people actually saw my lead magnet? So therefore, how many converted? So therefore I got one student. Okay, what do I have to do differently next time? And then what do I have to do? And I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
called running a business.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's literally it's always about data. Everything is
Yeah.
data, everything is an experimentation. And I think honestly, I think it's probably what's gotten me here to where I am now too, though. It's just experimenting with everything, taking what I like and what works, ditching what doesn't or what doesn't
Yes.
feel good, even if it does work, and then just growing and learning and just growing and growing and growing.
Yeah, I love that. I've had to give myself a pep talk this week about the data. I've not
Hmm.
been being very good at tracking all of the metrics. So I'm like, I need to get better at like a monthly practice of
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Mm.
definitely agree with that. Yeah. I was very much before I was just like, I just don't care. I don't want to look at it. I don't care about the
Yeah.
metrics. But now I'm like, no, no, I have to. If I
Yeah.
want to make money, I have to know the metrics.
Yeah, it's so true though, isn't it? Like, and you know,
Yeah.
I think it's important to note that you don't have to track everything. It's like, what's the
No,
important stuff, you know? Like,
absolutely.
yeah,
Align it with your goals. If your
yes,
if your goal is to like get another 1,000 people on Instagram to follow you that month, then obviously you've got to track the engagement and the views and things like that. But like
yeah.
if it's not your goal at all, then don't worry about it. Ignore it.
Totally. Oh my God. Because also, and I know I always bag Instagram, even though it's like one of my main channels.
Of course.
But if it doesn't like make you money, if your goal is to make money, don't worry about followers on Instagram. Like track the thing that is important to you. I love that you said that. What's important to you? That's the thing you've
Mhm.
got to track the metrics
Yeah,
around.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Mine's
Oh
emails,
my God.
so I
Yeah.
track that. Yeah.
That's so
Yeah, because I
good.
own them. I don't own the data from Instagram. Zuckerberg
Yes.
does. So,
That has got to be like the best tip for anyone listening. Email lists.
oh yeah, absolutely. That's the one thing I learned really early on in business, creating a really solid lead magnet and getting people into your list so you can nurture them and create a community.
Yeah. And that's really interesting, like interesting evolution from reaching out to people in a Facebook group to
Mm,
then going, right, I'm doing in control of my own marketing, create a lead magnet, get them on the email list, create a funnel. Oh my God, now my business works for me.
yeah, exactly. It's just such a weird feeling.
It's so good though.
Oh, it's so good. It's so
Yeah.
it's so good when you see something work. Like and you're like, yes, I did that myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, I love it. I love it. So obviously, like going back to being branding and web designer, what would be if so we've got women in business listening now. If someone, and obviously we want to be iconic, obviously we want to be true and authentic to ourselves. If someone was going into a brand refresh or, just starting to think about that, what would be some tips that you would have to them for getting started?
I think it's just like start small. Like you don't need to do everything all at once, you know.
Mm,
Um if you're like at the beginning, okay, you don't need to like just quit your job tomorrow and, go full in on your side hustle. And I just I just think initially test everything, test your offers, get your first few clients and then scale. And if you're
mm,
looking at rebranding specifically, you need to see where you are on the spectrum and what your goals are. It always comes down to your goals and what you actually want. So
mm,
if you're very new in business, I would say between, absolutely new to 18 months in, I wouldn't focus too much on the branding initially. I would just focus on what's going to work for you. So
mm.
testing and then getting a few clients in, talking to people, market research, that is way more important. And then from there, I would say, okay, invest in strategy stuff before anything visual. So you want to know what your messaging is, your positioning, what your personality is, your tone of voice, all that really important, juicy stuff. That will actually help you scale more. And then when you're ready, I would say 3 to 5 years in, you can go full in on a rebrand. Now, I'm not saying don't do branding initially because it is still really important to have
Mm.
the visual and everything great. But if you're on an incredibly tight budget, not just money, but time wise as well, whatever currency you're looking at, I would say just focus on testing, test, start
Yes.
small, and then grow from there. That's what I think I would say to people. Yeah.
I really appreciate you saying that too, because sometimes you look at people and you think, wow, that is such a shit website and crappy brand, but they are killing it
Yeah.
because it's like their offer and their messaging just
Yep.
resonates with people
Yep.
so hard.
Yep.
And I just think you need to get to that point. Like you need to figure out like who you are, what you stand for, what the transformation is that you offer people,
Yep.
like, what that value is. And you're right, like get your tone of voice, like figure out how you connect with people. Cause kind of when you nail that and start to see traction, then it's
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, that's the brand that I want to invest in making
Correct.
better
Yeah.
and gorgeous and scalable
Yeah.
versus, because like we said earlier, like things do change,
Yep.
and especially in the early days where you are testing and experimenting, like
Yep.
I can't tell you how many things that, how many lead magnets that I've made that don't
Same.
exist anywhere
Yeah.
anymore.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And even this year, like, so Spark, we're also in our sixth year, and like even literally this year I was like, we've really changed the way we talk about things, we've changed the cadence in the business. So I was like, well, my lead magnets don't make sense anymore. Like if
Yep.
you get that feels like you're coming into a sales thing, not really coming into like a business operating. So I had to change all of that.
Yep.
So you do, like, you're always constantly refreshing. So it's,
100%.
I
Yeah.
do love that you said like kind of figure that out before you
Yeah.
really go hardcore into it.
And look, a brand strategist would absolutely help you in terms of nailing all of that. But if
Yeah.
you're coming in and not really knowing anything about who you are or what your business represents, it's not just hard for that brand strategist, it's hard for you to get on board with
Mm,
anything, right? Because you don't know yet what feels good. So
yeah.
if you've done a little bit of time, you'll understand, who you are, what you want as a business, and then a brand strategist can come in and go, okay, let's really pull this out of you and make something magnificent.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much. Oh my God, I could talk to you all day, but I always love to wrap up these podcasts with one last piece of advice.
Hmm.
So, reflecting on your time in business, what would be a piece of advice that you would give to another woman on her business journey?
Just start. Seriously, you don't need permission. You don't need that perfect website. You don't need a business plan or a logo or 10,000 followers. You just need to start. I think, as I mentioned, you need to start small. Your too much is your differentiation. build the business that you want. Imposter syndrome never goes away. And find your people. I think those are the key points I would say. But yeah, I think overall, just messy action beats perfection planning every single time.
Lauren, you are incredible. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your journey and your story and your wisdom with the Spark community.
Thank you so much for having me.
That wraps another episode of Spark TV. Shout out to Spark TV sponsor IP Australia for their amazing support of the Spark podcast and women in business. And if no one tells you today, you've got this.